Hey guys, Steve Basinger here. I know it's been a while since I've done a video of an update or any tournament stuff, but I've moved to Nebraska now, and I've been just had my first club tournament just yesterday on a lake in Iowa, and man, did it go good. I ended up finishing third, just barely missed second, and really not that far out of first on a paper tournament where we measure the fish immediately and then let it go. But if I were to estimate my weight, I'd say it was somewhere between 17 to 18 pounds. And it was a day where almost everything went right. So I wanted to go over what I did in that tournament and what baits worked and what was really happening in there. So the water temperature was about 67 degrees. So I figured we just had a full moon over the end of the week. So I thought there'd probably be a lot of fish on beds. The water's a little dirty, so they're a little tough to see, and then obviously we started in the morning, so I couldn't really tell. So there's a lot of overhanging brush along the shoreline and some grass growing up. So what I did to start out was to take this Spro Broncee popping frog. I think that's pretty much a bluegill color. I figure if they're spawning, they really don't want to see some bluegills. I had that paired up on a Denali Kovert worm and jig rod. It's medium heavy, a 7.2. 50-pound braid, and then that's a Ardent Apex Elite 6.5 to 1. Really, I was just skipping it up into places in the flooded brush that I thought a spawner would be, and it's maybe a foot deep at the deepest spot in that brush, and they wouldn't just choke it, they would just kind of come up and suck it down. There was a lot of times that I barely set the hook because I thought it was probably a bluegill or something. Actually, I just uploaded the video from just the frog footage today, and you'll see that in there as well. You were able to dial it in pretty good by just looking for places where, as the sun got up a little bit, that the sun cast a shadow from the brush out onto the water. And as long as you could get the frog in there to the brush in a small little window that was 2 foot wide, anywhere from there out to the edge of the shadow, that was the strike zone. They would get it. If there was one there, they would get it. Then as the sun came up a little bit, the frog bite kind of died. We went to go look for sight fish. We couldn't really see them all that much, but sometimes you could kind of see a light spot and thought that maybe that could be a bed. So really what I did was I picked up, this is a Gambler Fat Ace. Not really sure on what the color is. There's a little bit of red flake. It's mostly like a green pumpkin swirl. And I rigged that weightless. That's a 5/0 hook. 15-pound Seagar red label. Another Apex Elite 6.5 to 1, and that's the same worm and jig rod, Covert worm to jig rod. And I would flip that at anything that I thought could be a bed, or any place that I thought might hold a spawner. So next to a lone standing stick or a rock or something like that, I'd flip that out there, and I ended up culling up some pretty good that way too. And then I also did have 1 or 2 fish that I caught that did help me out, that I caught cranking. They were the only 2 fish that I caught, but that came on a Skirmish Baits Tango 6 in the cricket shad color, and that was on a Covert 7.6 medium heavy cranking rod, and then a 5.3 to 1 Apex Elite, and that's 10-pound red label. All the fluorocarbon that I use is red label. For some reason, I don't break that stuff off very often. And with the crankbait, I was just looking at some scattered chunk rock, stuff like that. The co-angler that I had in the back of the boat, he caught one on a square bill that you could tell, that it was one of the bigger females. You could tell they really didn't want to eat because he had it hung up, and you'll see it in the video. He had the crankbait hung up, and then as we went up to unhang it, the fish ate the crankbait off of the rock. So that was pretty good footage. And then we doubled on crankbaits later. So that's pretty much it for the breakdown. This week I'll be going to Lake Okoboji to try to qualify for the state TBF tournament. All I need to do is make the top 12, and then I'll be a boater for the semifinal in September. So wish me luck on that. I'm going to give that one my all. Hope to put some big old bronze fish in the boat, maybe mix a couple green ones in there too. So until next time, guys, tight lines.